foreclosing on everything. And the moment they do that, the economy is going to tank, and it won't just be the U.S. that gets hit by it. The ramifications will be global.
Cole, we're moving in with you.
Well, you're moving in here. Yeah, it's cool, all right.
Oh.
Can I say with his question about who you're supposed to trust?
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
I was given the best advice years ago by my dad. And that is, you believe 1/4 of what you hear and only 1/2 of what you can see. The rest of it is yes.
That's great advice. Absolutely great advice. And going off of how you answer that, I continue by saying, looking at the world today, I still see a ton of good out there. I'm an optimist when it comes to what might happen. Not a fan of walls, but I'm a fan of a lot of what Trump has done for the economy, for African Americans. I mean, we have the lowest unemployment level, and I know, Eric, you were talking about Obama's numbers, but at the time we were still upwards of 20% unemployment, and that was horrible. And if you look at the difference now to then, I'd say we have done a turnaround in the economy. Yeah, we're going towards a bubble, but I think we have to see it from both points of view. I think Obama was great socially, but I think Trump is way better economically.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, Trump was a businessman before he became a politician. And that's what was needed, was somebody to look at the finances.
Oh, no.
Now,
how could you say that? How could you say that? He was one of the worst. You know, all the other billionaires say he was slimy and all that stuff. I am sorry. A Trumpy slump. I know whatever I'm going to say. Well, yeah, he was a businessman. You know what? When his father passed away, he managed to get all his other siblings' money. And then he was bankrupt. He a massive amount of money. That's how good a businessman he was. No bank.
I didn't say he was good. I said he was a businessman.
Yeah, but not a single bank in the United States would loan him money. But some bank in Russia was loaning him money to build his casinos and all this stuff, when no banks in this country would touch him because they knew what type of person he is. A good businessman would pay his debts. You wouldn't go hire a contractor and then all of a sudden try to find every excuse not to pay him. I mean, the guy, he's running the country the same way.
He was a businessman. But I mean, look at it this way. Obviously, enough people in your country saw something in him, or he wouldn't be sitting in office right now.
You know what it is? People, it's funny. People want to hear things. So if you get somebody up there, it promises what the people want. And really, I'm going to make America great. I'm going to create all these jobs. I'm going to do this. We're going to have record sales to all these countries, right? And we're going to manufacture in this country again, and come up and imaginate a lot of this stuff. People buy it because the same way they always have done it. Like look at the Nazis during World War II when they went into Warsaw. It's the same thing. It's propaganda. People love propaganda. You say the right stuff to people, guess what happens? They go for it. I don't understand the American people. I really don't understand them.
Hence my comment at the beginning of it, that if the media would start putting the positive stuff on the front news, such as the stories of the people that are actually out there helping people, the people that are out there unifying, as in putting weddings on the front page instead of who got murdered or who ripped off who, frankly, society would take a turn for the better. And that's on a global level. That's not just one country only. That's the whole 9 yards of them. Because you're absolutely right. People will listen to what they're shown, or what they're told.
Going off that, people listen to the first story they're told, even if it's not true. And then when finally someplace like, say, the New York Times or the Washington Post prints a small little article saying that they were wrong about something, only one 1/100th of the people that actually saw the original article read that. So they continue believing that down the line, and that makes them angrier and angrier. I mean, if you watch CNN every day or Fox or anybody, you're gonna think that our whole world is crumbling, and you're going to be mad at everybody in power. Not everybody in power, left or right, is bad. Some of them do still have our best interests at heart, but it's hard to weed through all of that when nothing is said except negativity from the media.
When the elections were first happening with Trump and Hillary and Bernie and all that, I got asked by one of my friends in India, why does it seem like there's a lot of veterans that are voting for Trump? And I had to think about that for a second. And veterans, or folks in the military, soldiers, are tired of politicians. It's politicians that send us to war. So they're not going to vote for a politician. Trump's not a politician. He's a businessman. So he would be the obvious choice for someone in the military or a veteran. So that was my answer for that.
Sorry, Eric.
No, go ahead.
I want to say something about Steve's comment and Keith's comment about the media. The one thing that has really changed over the last few years from a media perspective is the fact that people are not reading the stories anymore. They are headline people. The one thing that has cursed the media is Twitter. And the reason why is, as the world has become a 24-hour society where we want updates as fast as possible, the idea of getting facts is not the same as getting the news out as quick as possible. That is the biggest issue that we have regarding the media. The media no longer checks their sources. They no longer are wanting to play the way they did. It's about infotainment. It's about numbers. And unfortunately, it's still the old adage, two adages: sex sells, and if it bleeds, it leads.
There is a reason I don't get into discussions in politics. Because, frankly, I don't see a difference between the people running the country, the people running the media, and the people walking down the street.
Say that again.
I said There's a reason I don't get into discussions regarding politics. Yeah. Because I don't see a difference between the people running the countries, the ones running the media, or the people walking down the street. I don't see a difference between income brackets or gender or age bracket, none of it. Well, people are people. And quite frankly, that includes all the various different races that you're dealing with.
Right, and there shouldn't be. And we don't have a race war going on. What we have is an income bracket war. It's you have
known as class war.
There you go. That's why I was trying to think of the term.
Yeah, but Eric, 1 second here. If you look at this Jussie Smollett case that just happened in Chicago, where the black gay actor claimed that he was beat up by MAGA thugs, white MAGA thugs, all right? I mean, why is that story not getting the pub and the it's getting publicity? No, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people on both sides of the ledger, whether you're white, black, Hispanic, they are pissed off. They want this guy fired. He embarrassed an entire cause for his own gain. All right. Now let's take a look at something here. This is what people are sick of. I'm not saying what my opinion is on it, okay, because my opinion doesn't matter. But I've been following this case. All right. But this is what people are sick of. You take Roseanne Barr. She goes and puts out a blatantly racist tweet, and she gets the entire series canceled.
Right.
Okay, because of that tweet, and that she's a Republican and a Trump supporter. This guy does something just as heinous, but because he's a Democrat, because he's black, because he is gay,
they keep him on the show. There's no firing him. There's no canceling the show. So what the people are saying, and what I am reading on social media, is the fact of where is the justice? Where is the guideline of what is going on? Look, what he did was disgusting. What Roseanne Barr did was disgusting. The action that the network took against her was extremely justified, in my opinion. Okay? But where is the justice on the other side of the ledger when we're finding out that this guy did it to promote himself by being a victim? And that's the problem with the victim mentality that we have going on in today's society. It doesn't matter whether you're a Trump supporter, whether you're a Trudeau supporter, whether you're a Democrat supporter. It doesn't matter. It's the victim society that continues to get all the free enterprise of what is going on. Everybody wants to forgive Jussie Smollett. But they're not willing to forgive other actions. And that's where the hypocrisy, which is dividing a lot of people around there and around America and around the world, is this divide. And that's what makes it difficult.
Yeah, there's a that, but when we say that it's both sides, I mean, everybody wanted to play the victim. I don't see it as being both sides. I see one side definitely playing that card more than the other. And this is coming from a guy who doesn't side with either side. I just see the far left becoming a let's whine loud enough and we'll get our way type of political organization. I see the right as becoming dangerous because the right are the soldiers and the men who have fought to protect the freedoms of this country. And when you finally do make them mad, well, that's when the left is going to actually see what happens when not are in charge. Because a guy who's on the right that's pushed too far has the knowledge and know-how to deal the damage that's necessary to take over or take back the country.
Good point. So moving along. Dave, what's your first question tonight?
My first question of the night is about cryptids because, we talk a lot about Bigfoot. We talk a lot about Dogman. However, there are a bunch of other cryptids that are out there that don't get as much attention as maybe they deserve. So my question to the panel tonight is about cryptids. In your opinion, what is a cryptid that we're not paying enough attention to that deserves probably the same amount of coverage as Bigfoot or Dogman?
On that, so real quick too, March 30th, we actually have Butch Wachowski on the show to talk cryptids. So I just want to throw that out there too. But whatever happened to Chupacabra? Back in the 90s, you heard a lot about Chupacabra. Whatever happened to him?
They gave him a bottle of tequila. He's happy. He went back home.
Or a barbecue.
Yeah, not likely. He didn't come from here. He may have been happy with the bottle of tequila, don't get me wrong. At least until the morning after the night before.
Well, I got something to say about cryptids. Is a lot of people. I had a guest on Tobias Whalen the other night, and that's what we talked about for 2 hours. And that's what he does. He investigates all these reports, and the problem is a lot of people, mistake cranes, for example, as Mothman. A lot of things are going on in our world. The magnetic field is changing by moving rather fast. We also have global warming or coal, whichever way you want to stand on it. But it's throwing off the migration of birds. And what he's finding in a lot of states, for example, where people haven't seen these giant birds before because their migration is shifted. And all of a sudden they're thinking, oh my God, I saw a Mothman, or I seen this, or I seen that. When actually, it can actually be accounted for what it is. So I think right now, a lot of things are being misunderstood of what they are.
And that makes sense because if you've ever seen a crane before,